Okay. All right, we're getting ready to call this meeting to order. Before we call this meeting to order, I want to make sure everybody had a chance to get a copy of the rules of decorum. If not, it's on the back screen here, or there are the rules of decorum out on the podium outside. But we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll go for the determination of a quorum. You can call out your post, starting with post 1.
Anita Bass, post 1, present.
Mark Mariano's post 2, present.
Brian Smith, post 3, present.
Kay Nunez, post 4, present.
Hub Jordan, post 5, present.
Elaine Vaughn, post 6.
Okay, we have a determination of a quorum. We'll move into our invocation. We will have a 30 seconds moment of silence, starting now. It's our 30 seconds moment of silence. We'll move into the pledge. Next, we will have citizens' comments. Just a reminder, citizens' comments are 3 minutes per comment. Please fill out your card and hand it to the city clerk. If you do not put your address on the card, your comments will not be recorded into the minutes. You feel free to say address on file at the podium, but if your address is not on the card, it will not be recorded into the minutes.
Comment is for John Monroe, followed by Cheryl Bentley.
Hi, John Monroe, 5499 Woodsong, Stone Mountain. It's interesting that you have posted new rules for the meetings, except that you can't have new rules without making an ordinance that you now have new rules. So perhaps you need to have an ordinance before you post that there are new rules. I also think that appointing a person who has managed your political campaign for DDA smacks of an ethics violation. Items that are not budgeted for the year nor brought before council for discussion, nor put on the agenda after discussion as amendments are against code and can't be pushed forward just because someone decides they should. There's a protocol in the charter that is not being followed. Taking illegal actions are reported. Since the old mayor said the plan was a good thing for Stone Mountain on public radio, the suggestion for a museum of donations for the park, you know what they are? Harking back to DC, perhaps? Someone suggested, actually an ex-councilman suggested, that since the park was no longer teaching the lost cause, perhaps Stone Mountain should, because kids can't afford to go to the zoos or aquariums these days. Is that what you want to promote? Personally, I think you'd do well to donate trips to the zoo and aquarium, since understanding that there are wonders in this world might be more inspiring than learning how to put on a one's shoes.
Hi there, Cheryl Dudley, 4748 Oakaside Coast Reside Circle South, Stone Mountain, Georgia, 30083. Good evening, everyone. Councilman there. So my comments are directed to, I think the city of Stone Mountain should be excited by 3 recent developments that can really help the city to be more like it was when I first moved here 40 years ago, when it had a lot of restaurants and buildings done and did very well. Those developments are first. The park has a new operator, starting on June first. It's considered to be the Stone Mountain Hospitality LLC, that is the division of, yes, Aramark Sports Hospitality. Aramark I was familiar with when I worked for Turner because they were at the old stadium. There are stadiums all over the country, and not only are they at stadiums and hospitals, schools, but they are also at national parks and state parks like Tahoe and Yellowstone. And as Mr. Stingish was quoted too, if you want to know who he is, this is going to have a whole new direction for the park, for Stone Mountain Park, and bring it into the modern era. Just think, if they can get more businesses there and away from old timey things, how much better people would come to the city of Stone Mountain to eat at restaurants and cute little restaurants like Cherokee Rose, some more specialty restaurants, and specialty stores, because the restaurants that you're getting in Stone Mountain, again, I'll be honest, I did work there a little bit, but there was nothing, it's more like a carnival type restaurants, and funnel cakes, and things like that. So Stone Mountain can really benefit from that. As regards to what I saw on the agenda in the museum, again, the legislature this week, very interesting to watch if you've never done that. They did not pass the monument strengthening bill, far from it. It failed by only a couple of people. But again, cities actually the latest city to take away Confederate monuments is Waycross. I don't think I've ever been there. And then you have the whole thing with Decatur. So again, if you want to make this city successful, people are not going to come here to look at the things that they had, that they took out of the Memorial Hall Museum when they were supposed to be getting a whole new, well, they did get a whole new thing, but unfortunately they had a water accident in there, and that's probably going to be going away anyway, because Aramark, I'm sure, is going to have a whole new direction. All those employees, that's also another thing, employment. All those employees are going to have to reapply for the jobs, but there are going to be a lot more jobs out there, because this is a big operation. And I thank you, and I hope you will take it.
Thank you.
The next comment is Beverly Patterson, followed by Carl Wright, followed by Carolyn Sanderson.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Beverly Howard Patterson. I live at 473 Rockville Terrace, Stone Mountain, Georgia. Coming up here, concerned about the visitor center budget. If I can remember right, I have not been here in a while, but I've been online. But my understanding from y'all voted to split out the visitor center the correct way, because management somehow put money in that department, in that account, and the money has not been split up. So I wonder when this is gonna happen, because my understanding is the things that's supposed to change in the budget that has not been changed, that have not been done, or y'all just not being transparent about it. Or y'all just have not told citizens what I have done with the budget. That's what I see. I don't see nothing been done. Now, the $50,000 that's supposed to be going into the visitor center is up on our account number, and the account number says others. Did anybody define others in the visitor center? I'm sort of curious about that, because we have not set out the money, how it's supposed to be going and where it's supposed to be going in those accounts. Thank you.
Good evening, y'all. Carl Wright, 6439 James B. Rivers Drive. I wanted to just throw a couple things at y'all this morning or this evening. One is that JDR, where I've lived for 8 years now, has had potholes, they have potholes. And I was hoping that at some point in time before I die, that y'all hit that road repay those potholes taken care of. And a second thing with that is, does anybody have any idea when the bridge is going to be open on JBR and Ridge? They've been working on that for about a month, and the traffic is, well, if y'all have the traffic, you know that's pretty bad. I'd also like to give my support for Mr. Singleton as the new DDA board member, which I think y'all are going to vote on today. And the last thing is, I know that the city has spent a considerable amount of money investigating the bank issues that we had with the former mayor. I know the DDA has spent a substantial amount of money investigating issues that the DDA had with the mayor and our bank accounts. I just think that at this point in time, and I know a lot of people just let it go, but there needs to be some closure for the town, some closure so we know that we did spend the money correctly, or that she is exonerated. And if that's the case, then that's the case. But I know that as the DDA, we are pursuing the issue with the bank, and I think the city needs to pursue that as well and get our money back, or tell the whole world that there's nothing to see here. Thank you.
Caroline Sanderson?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. I live at 655 El Prado Court. I'm back with similar concerns last time I was here. Concern for the air traffic in our neighborhoods. My doctor has told me that I need 8 hours of continuous sleep for my health. That sleep is interrupted almost every night, all day. I'm watching low flying jets. And I would love to see some sort of action or explanation for what is above our heads and why, and when it's going to stop. I'm also concerned about our election, whether or not ICE will be allowed to control it. I'd like to see a resolution from council. You are on protection, your checks and balances, and for all of the illegal activities that we're seeing from our federal government, we're relying on you to protect the 20% of residents who are immigrants living in this community. And not only that, their neighbors and friends and loved ones that they have to watch, and these subjects to violence should ICE send on our cities. I'm also very concerned about our personal information and having these services available for you, particularly as we see the price of living and the cost of living. What our families can do, supposed to do this stuff. When I grew up, we had summer camp, we had classes, my enrichment hobbies, all of those were nurtured through our city park information. I had my first job as a counselor in training for park. These are job opportunities that I would like to see. I also was in our community garden, beautiful space. I was during my hour of volunteering. There were two city police officers that came that sat and watched and observed as I governed. I couldn't see inside of their vehicle. It was just, they came in and it frightened me, the way that they came in. And what I noticed was while they sat there for, I don't know, whatever purpose, I watched, I looked at the same trash can that had been overflowing for almost over a week. So how is it that we can have police officers sitting in parks that no public works to pick up the garbage and to make the environment something that families would want to enjoy. And also,
Thomas, followed by Ms. Thomas, followed by C. Monroe.
Good evening, Dave Thomas, 5155 Central Drive. Thank you all for the chance to speak to you. I wanted to talk about the Pending History Center. Specifically, it looks like we're getting ready to award the contract to the Historic Society. To me, they appear to be an obvious candidate. I do want to offer caution. The mission of the Historic Society is relatively broad in terms of the city of Stone Mountain. This is the website. Promote public interest in the preservation of the city's history and historic buildings and sites. Collect, interpret, preserve the unique heritage of the city of Stone Mountain. So I've been here about 2.5 years, and my observation is that the Historic Society seems to have been all about the Wells Brown House in the time that I've been here. That's an important asset. They've done a really good job in maintaining it and promoting exhibits there, but the reach does not appear to have gone outside of the Wells Brown House. And so now we're asking with this contract to put a bigger responsibility on. And essentially, I think they're going to have to up their game. There are things that are very, very valuable in terms of history in the city, such as Shermantown, the cemetery, and other things, and they really haven't gotten much attention, at least in the time that I've been here. And now we're asking the Historic Society to be responsible more for promoting that kind of stuff. And I think it is incumbent upon the administration now and the city council to really be the ones that are going to make sure they're accountable for actually doing it. But I think the qualifications are there. It just needs to be the will and staffing. Thank you.
Good morning. I asked you all for an ADA.
Excuse me, ma'am, could you state your name and your address for the record?
My name is Thomas. My address is on file.
You didn't write it on the form.
I said on file. It's right there.
Ma'am, we stated at the beginning of the meeting that you can put your address on the
It's not-
card.
It is not. I'm speaking in my freedom of rights right now.
Feel
First Amendment rights.
free to speak.
I'm from the city of Stone Mountain. I don't care what you say is on the video. And right now, y'all better be careful for what I'm about to say. That bell goes off, you interrupted me, so I'm starting now.
The clock hasn't started yet.
Okay. So I have, came to the comprehensive planning meeting, which was supposed to be a town hall meeting with 4,000 registered voters, 6,000 citizens. Only 7 showed up. During that meeting, before the meeting, I also asked for the list of all of the advisory committee members that was on that advisory committee. I did not get that. But what is published on the website is only 15 of 21 advisory committee representatives without their roles published on the city website when the BCA stated in all promise that we will be all represented. What happened to me? I show up. I continue to show up. I showed up at that meeting. I walked around. I got here at about 10 minutes to 7. I heard that there was a video played and was found. However, I walked around, there was posters up. I could not understand them at the speed at which trying to interpret a picture in what was written. I walked over to Ms. Huff and asked her was the information because I was taking pictures with my camera. So I'm not trying to be selfish, but I can't grasp all this material the way you have it, and people that are not here won't be able to see it, have access to it. She told me it was on the website. She tried to show me what her picture, but all it was the schedule. And then I went to, I said, okay, you're refusing, that's as far as you can go. I went up to the city manager, and I asked her, can we put the information on the city website for people to see it? That can't come. The city manager told me, I asked her, was the meeting recorded? She said, no, you have to take my word for this. The one thing you're gonna find out what happened after that. She told me that it was not a requirement for the city to publish an agenda or the information on the city website. And I told all of them that when I'm at work and I have a problem and I call customer support, I'm asking them for help. And when I ask y'all for help, you tell me what you want me to hear, tell me to go away. It's to thank you, Ms. Thomas, but you don't help me. You don't listen to us, you tell us what you want us to hear and not receive the feedback you asked us for. When I went home, the very next day, a picture of me was posted on the website. The city website. Close-up view, zoom in. It was on my personal side, my breast. Close-up. I asked the city to take it down because it came across as harassment. I saw it as sexual harassment and intimidation, wanting me not to come up to this podium. Women have told me they saw the picture of it, oh, it's nice. Oh, how would you feel if your wife or your mother or your daughter had a zoom-in picture of their private spots published on the city website and now it's on Stone Mountain Village? How would you feel if a man's private parts?
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you. That's time. Thank you.
Something needs to be done. I asked the city that if they don't take the pictures down by the close of this
Ma'am,
day.
everybody
I'll
has 3
file
minutes
report.
in order to do citizens' comments. Thank you. As a reminder, if you do not put your address on the cue card, we're fine with you saying address on file, but your address should be on the cue card so we can record it into the minutes. Thank you.
P. Monroe.
My name is Clint Monroe, and my address is on file, and I put it on the top. However, that's a new rule. Hasn't really been published until this meeting. And he's making it retroactive to me. People don't know that in advance. It should have been published and voted on by council prior to this meeting.
Correction. We always ask for you to put your address on. We always ask. That's part of the rules of the quorum, that you state your name and address for the
Some
record.
people prefer not to have their address. Good reasons.
That has always been a rule to record your name and address for the record. Thank you.
I disagree the way that's interpreted, but anyway. Good evening, once again. One of the questions that keeps coming up is how do we preserve our past history and at the same time move forward into the 21st century? Now, things like, I was up at the Stone Mountain Park at their last board meeting last week, and I noticed that they're walking a very thin line between preserving ancient history from the 1800s and still moving forward into the 21st century. Some people bring back Confederate tourism, which just isn't going to sell. If you're losing $15 million a year, there's so much revenue towards artboards, books, that it is silly. Firing staff. Higher education department over there has rips. For Stone Mountain Park, everyone who's going to be teaching has been reduced in force because of it. Putting money onto next current years going into the future. We're welcome to have some people coming up end of April who were sons of Confederates who think we need to go back to the old-fashioned rights and terms. No, that doesn't work. It's not this stuff. This part, not the United States of America, not anymore. We need to move forward into areas that complement the city wants to do into the future. One of those things we need to do is fund programs that make sense, that make dollars have sense, that project preferably some sort of return on the city's investment with the taxpayers. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
All right, that's the end of citizens' comments. We'll go to the review of the journal. Consideration for action on the request to approve the March 17th, 2026 meeting minutes requested by City Clerk Shavela Ames.
Mayor and council, you have here before you the March 17th meeting minutes.
So I'd move to approve the March 17th meeting minutes.
I second it.
That's a motion and a second. We will, any discussion? Okay. If there are no discussion, we'll call for the vote, starting with post one.
Anita Bass, post one, yes.
Mark Mariano's post two, yes.
Ryan Smith, post 3, yes.
Kay Nunez, post 4, yes.
Hub Jordan, post 5, yes.
Elaine Vaughn, post 6, yes.
Okay, that's a unanimous vote. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Reading of communications.
There are none.
All right, if there is no reading of communications, we'll move to the adoption of the agenda of the day.
Act that needs removed from the agenda, new business item number. One moment. 4. The consideration of an action to approve new copier fax scanner in the Atlanta office.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda of the day, removing number 4 under new business.
I second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, we'll call for the vote, starting with post one.
Anita Bass, post 1, yes.
Mark Mariano's post two, yes.
Ryan Smith, post 3, yes.
Kay Nunez, post 4, yes.
Hub Jordan, post 5, yes.
Elaine Vaughn, post 6, yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. That's a unanimous vote of the adoption of the agenda of the day. We'll move now to council policy discussion topics. There are none. We'll move forward to unfinished business. There are none. And we'll now move forward to new business. First item under new business, consideration of an action on the request to appoint a new Downtown Development Authority Board member, Robert Singleton, to fill an unexpired vacancy requested by City Manager, Economic Development Director Maggie DeMar.
Good evening.
The DDA board officially approved Mr. Robert Singleton as their new DDA member. A member of the Downtown Development Authority has formally resigned from their position, creating a vacant on the board. The unexpired term associated with is set to conclude on July 14, 2027. So this appointment will fill the remainder of the term. Tonight's the request on behalf of the DDA is council to consider the official appointment of Mr. Robert Singleton as the new DDA member.
Okay. Any questions? We'll start with post one. Are there any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
No questions.
No questions.
It's 5,
No questions.
6. Okay. Is there a motion?
I move to approve Robert Singleton to fill an unexpired vacant seat in the Downtown Development Authority.
A second.
All right. There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If no, we'll call for the vote, starting with post one.
Anita Bass, post 1, yes.
Mark Mariano's post two, yes.
Ryan Smith, post 3, yes.
Kay Nunez, post 4, yes.
Hub Jordan, post 5, yes.
Elaine Vaughn, post 6, yes.
That's unanimous vote. All right, thank you. Congratulations. Next, we have, under new business, consideration of an action on the request to approve a lighting agreement with Georgia Power Company for the new parking lot at 865 Main Street, requested by Public Works Director Mike Helton.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
This request on behalf of staff is to recommend a lighting services agreement with Georgia Power, your service provider. They will install 2 poles in the new parking lot area. Bronze or black, you'll choose, probably want to be black. will include underground wiring. Two poles, which the lighting is fine, meets standards and requirements. The estimated monthly cost will add $70 to the electricity line item that's listed on the document at $840 a year. The full installation is $8,000. And it's mentioned by Georgia Power that they will be paying. Once, if the council supports this, that 6 to 8 weeks later, they will be able to supply. So much money has been budgeted.
Okay. We'll start with questions. If there are any questions, we'll start with post one.
No, I don't have any questions. I do. So where will the lights be positioned again?
There'll be one approximately 4.5 parking spaces off the lane.
Okay.
And there'll be one coming off Second. It's equal to the closest side of the petition pond. On the side of the petition pond. They'll both be at the back of the lot. And we'll have a guard so that the lot does not interfere with that.
Thank you.
Post two.
No questions. I think we need it for sure. Thank you.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you for answering that, because you know I was gonna ask. Thank you so much for that, Mike.
Do we have a timeline for the parking lot opening?
I was told that this was one of the stipulations they wanted in place, and then hopefully it'll be soon after that. If people are going to use this to one hazards, not have a lot.
Post five, post six.
I just have one question. The cameras that's gonna be put up, they are going to also be connected?
We already have a separate service agreement that Georgia Power has set up, and Hillis is working on that. That's a separate agreement. They stated that if it's required, we'll be the only people that will be classified as poles. Not cameras on those, but that is. They'll probably come back before you, but it's very small.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion?
So I'd move to approve the lighting agreement with Georgia Power Company for the new parking lot at 865 Main Street.
Second?
All right. There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not, we'll call for the vote. Start with post one.
Anita Bass, post one, yes.
Mark Mariano's post two, yes.
Ryan Smith, post 3, yes.
Kay Nunez, post 4, yes.
Up Jordan, post five, yes.
Elaine Vaughn, post 6, yes.
Thank you so much. That's a unanimous vote. Great. We'll move forward in our agendas. Agenda item number 3, consideration of an action on the request to approve the purchase and installation of a Verkada PTZ camera to cover the new city parking lot and resolution 2026-03 budget amendment to cover the expenses requested by Lieutenant Bob Billis. Good evening.
The other item we needed, in addition to the lighting for the parking lot, was spares. What we thought would be best would be to use our current vendor, Verkada, which we use for the cameras in the parks, on Main Street, cemetery, and the lawn. And a particular camera that we'd like to go with is the hand tilt zoom camera, similar to the one we currently have at the lawn, because that camera does a sentry mode. In other words, it follows movement around the lot. And it is tied into our current Verkada Command platform. It would be. Now, it's not about the poles. It would not be on the light poles. This one, the plan is to mount it to the building, utilizing our in-house network to power it and to have internet access for it. And then our finance department created the resolution to finance. Are there any questions about this or any comments?
We'll start with questions, starting with post 1, and we'll work our way around to post 6.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
I don't have any questions.
Post 3.
I had one question on one of the
item numbers you used for where the money was coming from, and you, I assume, took care of that? It was a number on our packet that was not in the budget.
I believe that was in the agenda item that's taken off,
Okay. No other questions.
and that's basically to fix something that we've been doing wrong for a while.
Okay.
Now, this was prepared by the finance department. Budget amendment, put it in the right place.
Post 4,
No, no, thank you.
post 5,
No comments.
post 6.
No comments.
Is there a motion, Attorney Couch? Do we need to make two motions? One for the approval and one for the budget amendment, or can it be one motion? Two motions, okay. All right, is there a motion for the first item?
So I'd move to approve the purchase and installation of a Verdi PTZ camera to cover the city parking lot.
I second it.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, we'll call for the vote, starting with post 1.
Anita Bass, post 1, yes.
Mark Mariano's post 2, yes.
Ryan Smith, post 3, yes.
Kay Nunez, post 4, yes.
Up Jordan, post 5, yes.
Elaine Vaughn, post 6, yes.
That's unanimous vote. All right, we have one other item under this motion, under this agenda item.
I'll make a motion to, for the resolution to approve 2026-03 budget amendment to cover the expenses.
A second.
All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, we'll call for the vote, starting with post 1.
Anita Bass, post 1, yes.
Mark Mariano's post 2, yes.
Ryan Smith, post 3, yes.
Kay Nunez, post 4, yes.
Up Jordan, post 5, yes.
Elaine Vaughn, post 6, yes.
Okay, that's a unanimous vote. Thank you so much. All right, we'll now move forward to the next item, agenda item now number 4 on our agenda. What we got rid of 4? Well, yeah, 4. So I like you, Mr. Mike. Agenda item number 4, consideration of an action on the request to approve professional services for the cleanup project at the depot requested by City Manager Maggie DeMauve. Goal is economic development.
Thank you, Mayor Linder. The conversations around activating the historic depot, Stone Mountain, started during the prior council, these were council expressed clear interest in enhancing the city's identity as a good destination. So a key component of that idea also included the staff presented the visitor center can be open and also can be established. Following these directions, city staff incorporated these priorities to their work plans and started exploring implementation strategies with digital laws and two RFPs. The first RFP was related to professional services related to the cleanup of the depot, building, and the visitor center site. And then the second RFP was seeking qualified organizations to partner with the city in developing exhibits and also to manage the museum kind of operations with volunteers, and deliver ongoing programs, recreation programs, historical programs, and tours within the city of Stone Mountain. So tonight on the agenda, there are 2 discussion action items that have been proposed for council to consider. Council and mayor wish to move forward with the appeal for establishing the city as a good destination and also the use of the people of the visitor center and also the first agenda item is a discussion about the cleanup services. We did solicit 2 proposals, and the first was received by the first one received is from the engineering school in the amount of $9,875. And the second is from United Construction. The goal was a little bit over $10,000. $10,000 is the concept. Staff is proposing council to proceed with the approval of the engineering school to provide the cleanup services to the city. How to discuss the
So, council will ask to discuss this item first. So any questions for city manager? And we'll start with post 1. Work our way around.
Do we have a timeline that we're looking to open up the facility?
No particular date that we But let's say what that has been some time in the summer.
That's good. I did.
No questions. I've already checked, the budget. And I know it's properly budgeted and I think Handyman did a good job. Personally, I think they did a good job with the, with the, train, the caboose. So no further questions.
Yes, I have, one question. The handyman didn't give us any type of date on how long he was gonna take. The other quote said 5 to 6 days, the other quote was in my, I'm not telling you guys how to do it, but my issue is, I think it'd be good for the city to have multiple suppliers for maintenance around. And if we give the second job back to handyman training, we don't expand at all. It'd be nice to know that the other construction company, which is $325 more, maybe they are worth that much more, or at least if we got into a bind, we would have another vendor that we trust.
Thank you, Councilmember Smith. In addition, the proposal specified that the work should be completed within 2 weeks. And of course, we need to stay mindful when they start not renovation of the FEMA process, removing the carpet. From time to time, they might request additional time, which the contractor will provide about 60, but it does say up to 2 weeks.
The only other question was when they said they were going to remove the carpet, do we know if the carpet was glued down or?
It was, sir.
Okay,
The
so,
city staff.
thank you. I'm finished. Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure, one, that Andre has a business license. And two, my other question is as a handyman, do you have training for any contracting, or is this all simple handyman type of work that he does?
On the question of the business licensing, yes, yesterday we confirmed with our receptionist at the front desk. The handyman contractor has added to his license to the Stone Mountain, and on the question about the
General contractor's license, or he probably knows what, right, he probably knows what I'm talking about. Contractors, they do residential and commercial licensing, and I'm just curious about what type of training, and if we were looking at using him later on down the road, what's the scope of his abilities also? Because we do have a floor that we're trying to maintain, right? At Tourette's.
The company already provided services to the Stone Mountain by cleaning the floor at the caboose and renovating the caboose. And as far as I'm aware, also handyman providing services to Stone Mountain businesses and residents. But the handyman things will be able to have experience working on such related projects, and that is the reason that we're having.
Any other questions on post 4? Okay, all right, post 5.
Given the historic nature of the depot, city staff will be supervising the cleanup,
Yes, sir.
and who in particular?
We took care of some reports.
Post 6. All right, if there are no questions, is there a motion to approve? Or is there a motion not to approve, excuse me?
Go ahead.
Well, okay. I'll make a motion of an action to request approval for professional service for cleanup the project at the depot,
Which contract?
which would be handyman training.
I second it.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, if not, we'll call for the vote, start with post 1.
Anita Bass, post 1, yes.
Mark Mariano's post 2, yes.
Ryan Smith, post 3, yes.
Peyton Nunez, post 4, yes.
Bub Jordan, post 5, yes.
Elaine Vaughn, post 6, yes.
That's unanimous for item number 4 on the agenda. We'll now move to item number 5 on the agenda. Before we move forward with this item, I would like to recuse myself from discussion due to the fact my wife sits on the board of one of the companies that submitted a proposal. So ethically, want to remove myself from the discussion, and it would be Mayor Pro Tem who will take over the meeting from here, and I'll stand in the hall.
So item 5 is consideration of an action to request the approval of professional annual services for museum programming at the depot requested by our city manager, Maggie DeMode.
Member Smith, Mayor Pro Tem Smith, the city of Stone Mountain is soliciting proposals from qualified organizations to partner with the city in developing the programming and also the operational and community-facing services for the historic depot building. Following the minor renovation of the depot, the application will serve as a museum and also visitor center, highlighting the city's history and also cultural art. The city of Stone Mountain released an RFP, and one organization responded into the listed timeline, which was Friday, 10 a.m. Friday. Just give me a second. Was it 3rd? Thank you, Ms. Ames. Friday, April 3rd at 10 a.m. And that was the Historic Society Committee. And the Historic Society's proposal is in the amount of $57,350. The council wishes to move forward with this proposal. The line item will be on the visitor center, currently there is available booklet on the.
Was there any questions?
Yes. When we look at it from a financials perspective, when you look at line items and making adjustments on a spreadsheet concerning that, and you can clarify this for me, there can be an item that states others, and you can explain that in terms of, so that you audit properly. So I know we do that at our job, and there's a line that says others, but for clarification, could you clear that up for us for questions asked earlier?
Of the visitor fund and the line item. This is for now, the council will give you these pages, so you have the visual kind of cost in the numbers. Under the visitor center, we do have available budget for supplies, we have available budget for special events, printing and vinyl. When we originally listed the museum and visitor center for discussion tonight, the original intent was not just to have idea discussion, we would like to do the opening of the center. We would like city staff has been very proactive and actually going to take further by evaluating the costs associated with opening, especially with expenses. So, currently within the visitor center, there is a building repair budget in the amount of just $500, and also professional services available budget in the amount of $250. However, since council would like to move forward with the two proposals, the available budget will be from the line item that says other, 5075.523900. Currently, we do have available budget in the amount of $50,000. With that being said, we just need to allocate the different amount for the different proposals. We just need to allocate them to the right line item. And I'm not requesting council to do any budget amendment, simply because both proposals and both costs are under the same fund, and there is available this. So this will be the task for finance department to reconcile the accounts. And from the one item that's broken in the other, to allocate the cost, which is the building and repair, and also within the professional services.
Posted. If it's appropriate, I know that there was a comment concerned about scope and, you know, things like that. If Ms. Reed could potentially come up and just give a brief overview of experience, is that possible? She's here. Because we have in our packet, we have a bunch of examples of work and things like that, but I don't know if everybody is aware of it or has seen it. So just, if it could just be like a quick little overview. I know what you do.
I'm Erica Reed with the president of Stone Mountain Sport. I have a good faith, I think it's probably good. We are delighted that the depot is coming back as the heart of our city. In the 19th century, it was our economic heart. 20th century, it became our municipal heart. And now it has the potential to be our social and cultural heart. And I really commend you guys, and if you read the letters of recommendation, Bill Stevens in particular, he really brought that point home. It's time for the depot to be used and used well. The Historical Society has been a partner of the city for years now. So I'm actually going to talk to Dave Thomas after this, what we actually do there. We're more than the Phillips Brown House, way more. And we've been doing more in terms of programs for listed in the proposal. Certainly the 175th anniversary celebration there was a large. We did a great job. Thrilled about it. Maybe we hopefully we're on this. So we have strong credentials partnering with the city. We have a board that is just full people with great skill sets. We have educators, we have historians, we have preservationists. We just got Chief Westerfield. I feel like we probably have a safety part kind of sewn up on that. And we're thrilled to have him on. But what we offer, what we're thinking about, our vision for the museum is to bring it back the interior of that feel of a 1920s depot. There's nothing quite like it. But one of the characteristics of that is to have an open plan, have that seating, that sense of public space that belongs to all of us. And that's a big point here that I need to drive home. The depot has that sense of public space. We would like to see and the way the proposal is written, it's really to think of this in a phased manner. Museums are not built overnight, but there were a couple of instances of work that we wanted to talk to directly. For me, I think when I walk in that building, I want to see one wall that tells me the foundational history of our village. Who we are, how we got here. And those are facts. And it just come from that new Gibraltar beginning to taking us all into what I love about Stone Mountain. It is a small town and continues to be so. And from every person I've ever interviewed here, it's a great town to grow up in. And I met Hub's brother the other day, and I got that feeling from him too. Every time I talk to you, white or black, this is a great small town. We were a railroad town. We were a tourist town. We were many types of town, but we were great and remain a very small town. And I think that history has to be captured on one wall. That's what we want to tell our visitors about Stone Mountain, right? Now, on another wall, we need to tackle the threads, the community, the different stories. Shermantown was, and Juneteenth was mentioned initially. Our feeling is that Juneteenth is important, but that could be handled in a smaller temporary exhibit. The one on Shermantown needs to get up on the wall. And then it'll be joined next year with, as money permits, as time permits. Well, you know, so this is an ongoing thing when you say you want to establish a museum. It's just not tomorrow, it's just not one story. Larger stories, larger threads, produced in a professional manner where people actually leave Stone Mountain Village knowing who we are, right? Isn't that really the point of the whole game? What are the major takeaways? And how do we need to say those in an expressive manner? So the exhibit and using the depot is very important to this. We have a lot of space in there, we have original furnishings, we've got some great ideas, and we're not sure that we don't have the original ticket windows behind that paneling. Mike, maybe Mike's exploratory sense has gone, we might like to find that out. But, so there's a lot, we need to interpret the railroad itself, the railroad, the depot, and get these exhibits stuff. I really see the foundational side of the Shermantown story being done this year within this budget. That's what we were shooting for in there. Then one, I don't know if everyone knows all the different tasks. The other task beyond the exhibits was to actually get the visitor center volunteer group going, which is no small thing. But in looking at what we're looking at 2-hour stints, we're looking at volunteers from the from us, from our membership, Village 4, and other people who just want to be part of it. I also talked to a young woman at work who, the daughter of a Wayne News House, who's a Girl Scout on the Eagle Scout level. They're also looking for things like this to do. We need young people in our depot. We need young people in our visitor center talking about the history of Stone Mountain. So we really have proposed what I think is a really tight program with quality control. Because when people leave there, we want to know what they enjoy experiencing life as well, right? You have to always check it out, make sure you're hitting the right points. But we think you can assemble a group of volunteers and help work with the city, with the new staff that you guys are proposing, and get that going. The third thing was tours. We already have what we call the Stones Throw Tour, which is in place that needs to be refreshed. That was done by New South Associates as a free thing for the city. It is a ArcGIS, Esri GIS story map really that turned into a mobile app for your phone. So that can be ready to go fairly shortly. And then in 6 months, let's look at the cemetery tour. Now during the 175th, we did do a guided tour of the cemetery that was incredibly successful. We had family members standing by family plots. You know, we had a lot of give and take there, as well as the funny things about our cemetery. Is there really a horse buried there? People ask these questions, and we gotta know. We always go to Tug Tuggle, and he always gives us new story each time. But we do our best with that. But we think we can do seasonal tours in October. October is a great month for a cemetery tour. And then have a self-guided one that people can go through on their own. The fourth thing was helping out with branding. As a city thinks about what we want to say to the tour. We need to be on, helping you out, thinking about those things. And the fifth thing is dear to my heart. The depot needs a historic preservation plan, just for it. You guys need to know what to do with the building and how to care for it. The very best manner. Do no harm, but accentuate what it is. Because you have a beautiful depot. We want to keep it that way. The lower 1859 half, I mean, that's still a whole story that's gonna unfold, right? Supposed to be big grants and such that I could get that moving again. But I see such incredible possibilities. And I was so pleased to hear Stone Mountain Park CEO say the same thing. We're doing good here. So that's kind of our vision going forward. And the idea of the scope, it all came out over a week too, right? So I'm thinking this is the start of a conversation with the city, where we talk about what the needs are, give and take, even the dollar signs to a certain extent. It is a conversation at the start, get our foot in the door. What are our priorities right now? So I figured at some point we really sit down and talk about this. But I think I put it in a nutshell. I have been involved with many museum exhibits. I just finished one for the Department of Energy for their 75th anniversary. And I am coming off that with a little bit of a high. I would have liked another 6 months. But I think we do have the personnel, we know where to get professional help, we know how to steer them high. We need some volunteer work here as we move forward. But Historical Society, I want to end on this note. It's time for us to be on Main Street. It's time for us to be on Main Street. Because Mr. Thomas, for credit, if we demanded Wells Brown House, and we can take care of the Wells Brown House. But our history needs to be talked about. Main Street, we really need to understand a gorgeous Main Street we have. Our historic buildings, our city layout, some of them retired.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Let the council ask a few questions, please. Start back over with Anita. Councilman Bass, excuse me.
I think you covered a lot, and I do think you're hearing the pulse of what we're looking to do. I mean, there's a lot of history, but also what's going on currently too. So to be able to kind of translate past versus the progression of how it was, not always so good, not also great, but yet there's good even in the bad. So I think that we can make sure we translate that, so we can make sure we steer away from all the stuff that may come down the pipe. But I think you did a great outline of that, and I am big on the other half of that side of that, where the jail used to be. That is actually an opportunity to be clean. We talked about it in our last council group. We talked about cleaning it out, allowing it to be a usable space, a training space, a class over there. I mean, that's my vision for that too. But it's also revenue. It's something we own. We need to be making money off of that. So hopefully after the phase, we can generate some money to, it would be great if we can clean it all out at one pop. And that way we would have that done. I mean, ideally, if we had the money budget wise, if we cleaned it all out, it'd be great. That's all.
Those two.
I'm a big fan of architectural preservation and things like that, of the history of the architecture. So it spoke to me a lot. You talking about bringing it back to exactly how it used to be. I mean, I think that's so important for our town, and really uncovers our character partially, you know. So I'm excited for that, and I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Post forward.
Actually, I think you did a great packet here. I went through it and I was so excited I could hardly stand it going through it at home. I do love that you're taking in the railroad, the granite, what people did for a living, how you moved dirt back then, how they cut the granite. There's so many stories of people and purpose that gets lost in the noise. And I think it's very important to the council that we bring the modern day story and it be our story of the city, that we share with everybody. So thank you. I don't have any questions. I just think the packet was great.
That was fine.
Yeah, I mean, my mom and my brother, they took a depot that was given to them by the railroad and turned it into a great museum in the small town of Bartow, Georgia, population 200 people. So I'm excited to see what they got here. Thank you.
Can I say one thing? We do stand on the shoulders of some great people. And I think some of the exhibits need to talk about people on the council, because they lead us to the future. You know, these things are not always about and I think get that. I had good luck to work with the city of Atlanta on the Future Places project. And that name was all about historic preservation, but the idea is historic preservation is a good thing. Historic preservation, you build into the future that value, right? Because if you do that and you do it right, you've got a game. And we already have the bones are all here, it's just about making it better. I want to commend the city manager, because when I first got approached on this, there were big plans for that depot, and she really retracted them all and listened to everybody and came up with the right thing.
06. We got one more.
Very excited. And I was one of those in the retreat that was pushing for something like this, because I want our true history to be told. We have so many people trying to tell our history here in Stone Mountain, and we need to be the one to tell our history, because we know we live here, we lived it. I am just excited. I can't wait. I'm a volunteer already. I can't wait. Thank you so much. It was. It still is. It is.
And that's where we need to go.
It is.
So I have one question.
It's easy. We gonna have to have volunteers to to man the area. To me, that it's gonna be a little bit of a concern on who we get. I mean, how we can get them, who trains them? Who shows up? When they don't show up, who's gonna take over? You know the story. That's my biggest concern about the whole.
No, it's a tough one. I think best way to do it, and so I envision a tour, actually script being made. We get these 20 volunteers, when I put it, I just doing the math, with 2 hours, with the museum open Wednesday through Saturday meeting. So 2 hours isn't enough, believe it or not, to talk to people, you get tired very fast. But I think what we do is do a training program with them. And I think we could do a good job, but they could go out on the street until they did it 3 times well, right? So you start figuring out who can do what well. Some people can volunteer and they end up being behind the scenes because that's where they needed to be. So we would winnow those out. Ryan, I hear you because you're dealing with volunteers. So I think what we have to build a schedule that is supported by a B schedule, if you will, so we know who's available if they can't come. The women's club did this. They did. In the caboose. And they did a pretty good job. But it's harder. It will be hard. I'm not kidding you. I think that's the hard part of the whole proposal. And keeping them happy. And that means they have to love what they do. Right? I did put in, like, Georgia State has a preservation program. What if we get Chad Keller to have that program? Would you give these kids a credit? Now there's an initiative, right? There's push. So there may be that sort of thing to bring like new faces in and learn how to spend them. So I think we have to try it all. I think you assess where you are in 3 months. Did you do good? Where did it fall apart? Make the changes, be nimble enough to do that. And then by 6 months, have a healthy program.
So Councilman Jordan would like one more question.
Maybe this is for Ms. Dimoff, but do we see DDA involved in this at all? And what collaboration we might have with them?
No.
Yes, I actually do, because we would like, city staff would like to propose to the DDA and actually ask the create goals related to smart materials. And if the DDA also can assist with some contribution to the center, simply because if you remember, we went to still more in the center, and that had a different and I think DDA here can be very professional and play a very good role about marketing and branding and overall branding for the city. So definitely, this is an idea for them to consider, which will bring to their attention.
So can I have a motion?
I move to approve the professional annual services of Stone Mountain Historical Society for museum programming at the depot at the amount of $37,350.
I second it.
Post one.
Anita Bass, post 1, yes.
Mark Mariano's post 2, yes.
Hey, Nunez, post 4, yes.
Bob Jordan, post 5, yes.
Elaine Vaughn, post 6, yes.
Thank you, council.
Are we waiting on the mayor?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for your help in that last discussion item. All right, we are now at new ordinance and resolutions. We have one item, resolution 2026-04. Georgia Cities Week recognition requested by City Clerk Shavela Ames.
Good evening again. So I'm here today to present the resolution as recommended by the Georgia Municipal Association. This annual initiative supports the city clerk's playing role of governance by promoting transparency, strengthening relationships between local government, residents, policymakers, and fostering a deep understanding of municipal services. We don't have to do anything, but we can do everything. Unless- Any questions?
All right, we'll start with questions, starting with post one.
No, I don't have any question.
I don't have any questions.
No questions.
No question.
None.
So I move to approve resolution 2026-04, Georgia Cities Week recognition.
Second?
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. What does this all entail?
So, I'm glad you asked. If we had the budget and we could have gone and whatever their points Monday and
Okay,
small and cute.
okay, good. That's all I'm done.
With that, there was a motion, and a second. Is there any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, we'll call for the vote, starting with post one.
Anita Bass, post one, yes.
Mark Mariano's post two, yes.
Ryan Smith, post three, yes.
Bob Jordan, post five, yes.
Elaine Vaughn, post six, yes.
Okay, that's a unanimous vote. All right, we will now move to remarks of privilege. We'll start with post one and go around if there are any remarks of privilege.
I don't have any.
Post two.
I have none. Thank you.
No comments, thank you.
No comments tonight.
No comments.
Yes, I do.
Post six, go for it.
I'd just like to commend our city manager, city clerk, and who all was involved to get some things moving that we discussed in retreat and it's not sitting there. I know we discussed a lot, but I want to thank you for actually helping us and the finance department move forward on some things that we want. Everybody, the whole team, okay, I'll put it that way, the whole team, for helping us move some things that we want to see get done. Not saying that we just trying to spend money, but we are actually, I feel we're actually doing some things where others can see what we seen during our retreats. Thank you.
All right, thank you. For remarks of privilege, we'll move to announcement by the mayor. I only have one announcement. I want to give condolences to our former police chief, Chief Troutman. He recently lost his son to gun violence. So I want to give condolences to him. We also lost a former council member, Nan Nash, at the beginning of the year as well. So want to just give condolences to them. Last remarks of personal privilege from the mayor. There was an Easter egg hunt over the weekend that was pretty successful. I think the Historical Society did a pancake breakfast that was really good. And Outrun did an amazing wrestling event I heard over the weekend. So good things are happening in our city, a lot of momentum. Very, very exciting. So it's the only announcement that I have. Our next item is executive session to discuss personal, legal, cybersecurity, and or real estate.
So I move to adjourn into executive session to discuss litigation.
A second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
No.
All right, we'll call for the vote, starting with post one.
Anita Bass, post one, yes.
Mark Mariano's post two, yes.
Ryan Smith, post three, yes.
Kay Nunez, post four, yes.
Bob Jordan, post five, yes.
We'll go in executive session. Feel free to hang around and we'll be back to either have discussion or adjourn.
Good time.
Let's get out of here.
Please. I don't think y'all like to leave before 8:30. I'm convinced you like to have a 2-hour.
It's 8:04. It's 8:04.
All right.
Bam. You don't get to vote.
Really?
I don't, Mayor Pro Tem doesn't.
Well, you could break a tie, but there's no point in breaking against this 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I just wanna make sure.
all right. So there was no motion to be taken out of it. Yeah, we gotta bring the meeting.
So I,
Thank you.
so I move to adjourn executive session and resume the voting meeting.
My second.
All right, the motion and a second. Any discussion?
No.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we now have the,
Litigation item. Sorry, it was 5 that you added.
Oh, fine. For litigation. and
so
one
in executive session, we discussed 5 litigation items, and there was no action to be taken out of executive session. Okay, we are now moving to the final item on the agenda, which is adjournment.
So I move to adjourn.
Second.
There's a motion and a second on adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
Good job, hey, good job. Oh, no, I need that. We have enough for you here. We have planned all the things. Yeah. Yeah. For a minute, oh yeah, I'll swear a minute, I'll be here with you. Good job. Man. Got it going. Good meeting. Good.